everyone. My guest this evening is an educator, nurse, journalist, talk show host, astronaut, and professional chef. And those two things, I'm pretty sure I just made up. Ladies and gentlemen, Veronique Mandal. Vero, how are you?
I'm really, really good. Thank you, Zach. And believe me, if I could have been an astronaut, I would have been.
Would you actually go if you had the chance, if Jeff Bezos called you up and was like, hey, you want to go fly on the astronaut?
Well, you know, the problem is I've got claustrophobia, and I hate being in a closet. So if I had to be in a very small space for a very long time, I probably wouldn't go. But I mean, given the opportunity, and if they paid you enough, I guess you could almost do anything.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I wouldn't myself, but I would just want to go so I could like open up a bag of chips and just see it fly.
Just
kind of like.
It'd be cool. You just feel yourself floating.
So, you've been a journalist for decades, and who is somebody who influenced you in journalism growing up?
I think the librarian in the little town where I grew up in Buckens, Newfoundland, I mean, the middle of nowhere, but we had this absolutely brilliant English librarian, and she really taught me to think and to question. And whenever I would bring my books back, I would go every Friday, get 4 new books, bring 4 back. And whenever I brought them back, I knew she was going to ask me, you know, what I had read. She didn't mean tell me the story. She would mean tell me about the story and what you learned. And so it always sparked my imagination and my, you know, the whole creative process of thinking something through, and the whole aspect of storytelling, which then became really a mantra for my whole life.
Did she also influence you to, because you've written a number of books, The Pink Hat, the one about the lawyer Don Tate, which the title I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed to say on this television. But did you, for that one with Don Tate, what was the most surprising thing you actually learned while writing that book about him?
I think what I came to learn about Don Tate was that he was a really good human and a very kind human, because as I write in the book, I didn't like him very much when I was forced to go interview him. And when I interviewed him multiple times for the book, and I mean, I had to go to South Africa where he had washed up after he'd gone to jail and all the rest of it, I began to find a really spiritual and kind person. Maybe his spirituality astounded me more than anything. And learning about human nature and not prejudging, because in the end, you have to make up your mind about a person. And I never saw him as the lawyer. Once I got to know him, I began to see him as Don Tate, a very spiritual man, and someone who actually helped me a lot.
So did he help write the book with you?
No.
Oh, so he just
100% hands off.
100% hands off. Interesting.
And because a lot of people, you know, had made comments, oh yeah, so this was Don Tate's book. And Don Tate made it clear, this is your book. I'm only going to tell you the truth. And you better write the truth, because I've done a lot of bad stuff in my life, and I don't want you to whitewash it.
Do you think there'll be some point someday when somebody will write a book about you?
Oh, Lord. If they've got nothing else important to do.
I'm always wondering if someday somebody's going to write something about me, and it'll probably be my obituary. Anyway, so in addition to author, journalist, you're also an educator. You're the program coordinator of the Journalism, Film, and Social Media program. When students come through the door, how do you mentor them in a way?
I think there are two things you know, as an educator, you're not only responsible for making sure that they learn all of the skills that are going to get them a job, but I think it's also a huge responsibility that you help them as human beings, because no one comes through the door fully fixed, so to speak. They're still developing as young people. And I think anything we do that will help in that process means a very successful human at the end of it, not a successful journalist or filmmaker or social media expert, but a really successful human. The students who have passed through my life over these many years have taught me so much about understanding how important it is to help someone be a really good human, because in the end, it also helps your own development as a human, no matter how old you are.
What is something a graduate has taught you that sticks with you to this very day? This is very Oprah-like right now.
I think what I was taught more than anything is to really keep an open mind. And when someone comes to you and asks a question that doesn't sort of seem to make a whole lot of sense, to listen and to really pay attention to what they're asking you. And because the possibility that what you say is going to influence everything they do for the rest of their lives is huge. And if you miss that opportunity, Zach, I can't imagine, you know, how, for me, how my conscience would deal with it, because I've had so many students who have come in having had rough lives and then go on to be really, really successful. And they've said, I want to thank you, because if you had not listened and saw something in me that I didn't see, then I may not have been where I am today. And so I think, and perhaps it goes for all of us humans, the power of listening is so amazing, because it changes lives.
What was that? I didn't catch that. No, I'm kidding.
I know you listen, Zach.
So this is a question that, you know, if we're living in an environment where, you know, we can't trust the media, right? Like there's so much, you know, that bias, one-sided reporting. How, when students leave here, how do they not fall into that trap of one-sided reporting? Because I feel like it is a trap most times that most, you know, new journalists will fall in. So like, kind of like, what's the advice that you would give?
Well, first of all, one of the things that you know that is a mantra of all the professors here at St. Clair's Mediaplex, the mantra is fair and balance and no bias. And our hope is always that what we've instilled in them in terms of ethical journalism will remain. But you're right, it's very difficult now when they leave to be able to point them to any kind of a media organization where there is no bias. And so I think what I try to tell them is, you know now what is ethical reporting, how to be an ethical journalist. And in order not to fall into the trap is to make sure that you always get both sides of a story. In the end, editors have tremendous power, as you know, and I would tell, and I have told them, if you do a fair and balanced story and no one can take any or make any objection to what you've written, and your editor skews it, take off your byline. I wouldn't allow an editor to put my name on a story that an editor has skewed in one side or the other. I don't care what side it is. If it's not an honest reporting of what I've written or, a graduate has written, then don't put your name on it, because that is the one, all these years in journalism, it's the one thing that we're always taught. Your name is your right, and you don't have to put your name on a story if you feel that it doesn't represent your ethics.
I know one thing I'd probably be thinking is, Vero could possibly be reading or seeing this. So keep that in mind. Anyway, before we wrap up, you were on my previous show, Remotely, Zach, and I asked you a series of 3 questions, so you should know how this goes, because I'm going to do it to you
I
again.
didn't have a bad memory.
So what is one thing you would like to change about yourself?
Oh, I'd love to be tall and thin.
You look fine. What program do you prefer teaching, PR or journalism?
Did you really ask me that before?
I probably did.
Well, I suppose, I have my own PR company and I really loved it, but I think journalism is really close to my heart.
If money was no option, where would you move to?
I would spend a third of the year in England, I think, a third of the year in Newfoundland, and a third of the year right where I am.
In Windsor.
In Windsor, my little piece of property in Essex County.
Oh, county life. I'd live in Denmark. Thank you, Vero. We got a great show. Make sure you stick around. Veronique Mandal, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Always.
A big thanks to our guest, Veronique Mandal. We'll be right back with more Remotely Zach right after this. Stick around. You don't want to miss it.